Hey, everybody. It's Kingsley here from Remax of Western Canada. Good to be back. It's been 2 weeks since I did my last episode. Actually, I don't think weather changed much the last 2 weeks, which is supposed to be summer, but it's really not quite summer in most parts of Western Canada here. If you're in from the East Coast or anywhere else that you got summer weather, just let us know in the comments so we can all be jealous about it. But anyways, welcome back to another episode of Remax Facebook Live interview, The Voices in Real Estate. This live interview will take place weekly for viewers in the real estate industry to learn and become better real estate agents. Within Remax, we believe in strength in numbers where people are open to share their experiences and knowledge with others. So Remax agents and the rest of the industry can better serve their clients. And today's topic is actually a very important one, especially nowadays where their eyeballs are. We're going to talk a little bit more about the social media influence and some of the good things, some of the good practice, some of the not so good practice. We're going to be talking about all of those good stuff, so we are more knowledgeable about going about on the digital space. So our guest speaker today is Kaylee Jackson, who's our lovely communications coordinator here at Remax of Western Canada. So let me get her on the screen. Hey, Kaylee.
Hi, Kingsley.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. How's life been?
Pretty good. Rainy.
Wet, rainy, that's it?
Not super lovely outside.
Well, I thought Kelowna was supposed to be good, but apparently not so much right now. But hopefully, if this is a result of no forest fire in August, then I'll trade that off. I'll be happy about it too. So, anyways, maybe give yourself a little bit of an introduction to the viewers here, and see what they get to know you a little bit better.
So, as Kingsley mentioned, I'm the communications coordinator here at Remax of Western Canada. Clearly, the communication's not happening yet this morning. I've been with Remax for just over a year. I started in May of 2019. I started right out of university, so I was really lucky to get into this role, and it's been a really big learning curve, but I've really enjoyed everything and I've learned a lot, and I'm really enjoying being in the real estate sphere and being able to bring my expertise and social media to that. I don't know, I guess a fun fact about me, I was born and raised on a grain farm in small town Alberta. It was about a town of 120 people. So
oh, wow.
I lived there until 2014 when I moved here for school, and then I've stuck around Kelowna. So, yeah.
Wow, in a town of 120 people.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody can top that one in Western Canada. I would like to know, but I guess social media is a big part of growing up for you then, or must have been. Internet in general must have been, because that's how you communicate with the outside world.
Yeah, and it's a big part of how I communicate with my friends and family back home, because most of my family is back in Alberta, so social media is a big part of that.
Right. So we got Shannon here, and also Linda saying, good morning. So good morning to both of you. So let's kind of jump right into it. And like I previously mentioned, especially the last couple months, this social media, digital space, everybody's on it, not only just on a daily basis, but on hours every day on there, right? So that's where really a lot of the eyeballs are, and because people can't really go to many places and things like that, and it's either become a hub for information or entertainment and things like that. So what kind of things have you seen shift, especially in the last couple months?
In the last couple of months, it's been really interesting to see what's been happening on social media. Obviously, social media has become a huge hub for finding out more information about what's going on currently in different areas around the world, and keeping in touch with friends and family in different parts of the world when you can't necessarily be traveling to visit them. There's been big influxes of just interactions on social media, I think, because people have nowhere else to go or nowhere else to interact with other people, especially if they're living by themselves or aren't able to be interacting with someone on a physical, personal level every day. So social is a big place where a lot of people turn to get that social interaction in their day-to-day lives.
Right. And since everybody's on there, especially if you're a real estate professional, not only do you want to be communicating with your family and friends on social media, but also be communicating with your clients or showcasing some of the listings and so forth like that. So for professionals like real estate agents, it's more, they also have to worry not only about interacting with people you know really well or grow up with and things like that, but also you have to build some kind of reputation or image of yourself on the social media space, so people can view you. People that don't necessarily know you well view you positively. And what's your take on that? And
Yeah, I think social media is a great platform or are great platforms to be able to utilize as an agent or as a real estate professional to be able to promote yourself to clients that may not know you on a personal level, and really get yourself out there and showcase your listings and share experiences that you've had with other clients. And it's become bigger in the past couple of years, especially because one of the big target markets right now are millennials, and millennials are always nose down in their phone on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. So social media is really good to be utilizing if you are a real estate professional, to be able to engage with past clients, potential clients, friends and family, and really just kind of showcase yourself as the professional. And you can really promote yourself as being the expert in your area and your community, and be that person that others can come to if they have questions regarding what's happening in real estate.
Right. And obviously reputation and things like that, there's many people that are done really well to kind of build an image online. But there are, as we see, especially everybody's a little bit stressed and they spend more time online. There's also the other side of things, the not so positive side when it comes to social media. And is there something that people should be avoiding or things like that, if in terms of keeping up with a good reputation or image online?
Yeah, I think reputation management is huge, especially being on an online platform like social media. Just as it is with like physical social interactions with individuals, you want to be professional. You want to set yourself as being the professional in your industry and in your area. And it gets really easy to not forget, but it gets really easy to kind of take a sidestep in what you're posting or what you're commenting on, because I think a lot of times it's a lot easier to say something through a keyboard hidden behind a computer than it is to say something face to face with someone. And so that is where a lot of people can run into trouble, where they make a comment on something that gets taken the wrong way by another person. Like I've always said that like texting and things on social media, it's really hard to get the full understanding of what's trying to be said, because you're not reading body language, you're not verbally communicating with the person you're talking to face, so you're not able to gauge body expression and body language and really get the full depth and understanding of what is being said. And this is where it gets tricky with social media, because it's so easy to say something and have it misconstrued in another way and have someone take it the wrong way when that wasn't your intention. And the other thing with social media is once something is out on social media, it really can't ever be taken back. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the nature of how social media works, because there's people who will screenshot things and things will get shared, and kind of once it gets out there, it's out of your control. So regardless of like if you post something on your personal page, you could delete that post, but you never know who may have seen that and screenshotted it and could be sharing it outside. And it's easy, like with being on social, and so many people have so many different avenues of social media and being online, where your name is tied to that. And if you're tied to a company or a brand or a business or something that you do, a lot of the times it's super easy to track down. So even if something is posted on a personal page, if you've got any sort of affiliation with a company or a brand, it's really easy for other people to track that down. And then it becomes the bigger issue of, it's not only your personal brand reputation that's coming into question, it's the brand reputation of the company or the corporation that you represent as a whole comes into question. question because you are affiliated with that. So it's the past couple months, especially because people are sensitive, people are scared, they don't know for sure what's happening. It's a really, people don't know what's going on, and it's really unpredictable, and it's really easy for things to be taken out of context, and people are sensitive, and it's just really important to remember to be cautious and really be mindful of what you're posting, and really think about what you're posting and how that could potentially be taken by someone outside of your circle who may not know you on a personal level, but are seeing you as being a representative of a brand or a business.
Right. Right. And sometimes, like you mentioned, you can't really retract what you say on social media. So, I mean, sometimes we get emotional in certain topics and things like that. Doesn't matter. I mean, we shouldn't really be, talking about, I guess the, different ethnics or political views and things like that, because you just don't know who's reading it, right? And just be more mindful of it. And if you're emotional at that stage, I think there's a term called keyboard warrior. When you're frustrated, you start typing away. I don't know, everybody's a little bit different, but implement yourself a 2-hour rule or 24-hour rule before you reply to certain things, so you think clearly, you're not emotional when you're replying to it. Because the thing with social media is we've done, a lot of agents have done so well to build a certain image, not only to their friends and family, but to the outside community. So one negative message will go to that outside of your own circle, and when that happens, like you mentioned, people don't know you, right? So they take it differently. So we just have to be careful with it.
Yeah, and I think it's really easy for one negative comment or one negative interaction to be highlighted out of hundreds of other positive interactions. That's just, people tend to focus on the negative, and it's really easy for something to be taken out of context and taken wrong, and then it snowballs, and that becomes the main focus of the conversation then. And similarly to what you said, giving yourself like a 2-hour rule, I also think sometimes taking what you want to say and writing it down, but not in that sort of platform. So like in the notes on your phone, or sending it to yourself as a text, write out what you're wanting to say, leave it for an hour or two, and then come back to it and be like, is this still a legitimate comment that I'm wanting to make? Is this something I'm wanting to say? Or was it just the heat of the moment kind of snap decision? And kind of take that time to really think about things.
Right. So let's
Sorry, I'm in a meeting.
Let's switch it to a little bit more on the positive side of things. And I mean, social media has done a lot of good things for real estate agents in general in terms of communication. So what is really the best way for real estate agents to get a hold of, communicate with their clients?
I think just utilizing whatever social media platforms you're most comfortable with. I don't think, like I always say in different presentations, that you don't necessarily need to be on every single social media platform. If you really are not a big fan of Twitter, don't utilize Twitter, because it's most likely not going to be your strongest platform, and it's going to be one that gets lost. So if your strongest two are Facebook and Instagram, really hone in on those and focus on those, and make those your 2 top priorities. It's really important to be engaging. So you don't want to be posting once a week and then not really engaging with anyone. You really want to be consistent in your posting, whether that be twice a week, 3 times a week, every day. But make it consistent and really engage. So if someone comments with a question, reply to their comment, because then other consumers, other potential clients may see that you're being helpful and that you're responding. They're going to be more likely to want to engage with you. Another big thing that I always talk on is like the 80-20 rule with social media. So yes, you want to be showcasing your listings, but most of the time people are only going to want to see those listings every once in a while. What they're really going to want to get from those social media interactions is who you are as an individual, because that's really what's going to sell them in the end, is your personality, who you are, how you interact with people. So the 80%, so I always say 20% listings and things related to real estate, and then 80% education, things that about your personality. Like, be real with people. Like, tell them, like, talk to them about what's going on in your day. Do you have any open houses planned? Are you doing any showings? Is there anything cool happening in the community that you're based in that you can share, and maybe share your expertise on the community and kind of set yourself up as the expert for that area. And it's a really good, social media is a really good touch point to be able to educate clients as well. So even if someone's not necessarily looking to buy or sell a home right away, they may be they may be thinking about it. And so that's a really good way to be like, hey, does anyone have any questions about buying that I can answer? Whether that be just a post, or if you jump on a quick Insta story live or a Facebook live and answer questions, that's a really great way to engage with clients easily, and something that can kind of resonate through your platforms and really engage with other people.
Right. And you started off the question with a really good word for this, is consistency. And that's key. And a lot of people, they think about going at it, and if they post them, they expect right off the bat, a couple hundred likes or something like that. But that doesn't really happen. In most cases, it won't happen unless you start to become consistent with interesting contents that you post. So as time goes on, then there will be more people that follows what you post out there, but you got to give it time, right? You can't just expect one thing that will, because that's what a lot of people think. Like, if I got something interesting this time, I post it on there, I get a couple thousand views, and it's awesome, then I'm great at it. But it never really happens like that. It's just like in life, a lot of things, other things in life, it takes time and effort to kind of build that up. And even followers, it's the same thing, right? On the digital world.
For sure. And like, as you set yourself up as that expert in your area in the real estate field, you're going to have clients and potential or past clients or potential clients that are going to follow you. And then they're going to be telling their friends, hey, if you're interested in buying a house, you should follow this person. They've got a lot of really good information on what's happening in the market, what's happening in the neighborhood. And it's kind of like how, like you do like agents, you do a lot of your business through referrals. It's the same with social media. If someone follows you and they really enjoy your content, they're going to tell their friends. So it's a really easy way to engage with people and really kind of grow your audience and grow your client base for really a little segment and a little portion of the internet is that you can kind of hone in on as being your space.
Right. So Kara's back. Hey, Kara. From St. Albert's. So I guess the couple tips here is, in terms of putting out content on social media, is one, aside from putting listings and things like that, that we all, most of us do. But one thing is, have content that's, you can talk about knowledgeable content. So either buying, selling, or struggles that people go through, like, getting approved first and things like that, steps that you need to be aware of. So knowledge-based content, that's one good thing. Community content. So, because typically, I think the survey was like 75-80% of people's real estate agents' business is within 5 kilometers of where they are or where they usually do their business. So, like you mentioned, being community leaders, just have community content. Like, it can be featuring a certain restaurant owner or somebody that does a lot of volunteer, or a charity association, things like that. And also the last one, I think content is also very important, but people don't think about is you. Like, it can be funny, right? It can be just who you are. Could be things you do with the family, or things, that you run around doing, and that's interesting or funny. And what I find that even for myself is that the funny stuff gets the most interaction of all.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's being candid and being yourself. And that's really what people look for. That's what people want, because there's nothing worse than talking with someone online and then going to meet them in person, and they're a completely different person than what they seem to be online. And so people want that unique, that genuine interaction with someone. And there's no better way to do that than being on social media and sharing things about your life and what you're up to and what your family's doing. And obviously you can gauge it on how comfortable you are with sharing your personal life on the platform, but there's still ways to do it and share your personality without getting super personal and super granular.
Right. So be a little bit transparent of who you are, right? And it's just like you go into a networking event, and you can't really go be somebody else. So you still have to be yourself, and you got to treat social media like that.
Absolutely.
Eventually the client will meet you. So they got to, it's just like one of those real estate photos. where people are like, don't recognize you an actual person because that photo was 20 years ago kind of deal, right? So
Yeah.
be transparent, be who you are. So yeah, so my next question, I guess, is what's Remax been doing in terms of on our social media account? And because that's really a big part of communication, not only between us and our franchisee or real estate agent or any of our system members, but also to the consumers too. So what's happening there on that front? Because you're the one that looks after it.
Yeah, we when everything kind of kicked off in March, we had to really take a step back and pivot our approach to how we were approaching social media. And things at Western Canada are a lot different than how they run on Remax Canada. Western Canada, a lot of our social media is agent focused. So providing our agents in Western Canada with information on what's happening, things they need to know, different sessions that are happening, educational webinars, whereas Remax Canada is a lot more consumer facing. So it's providing consumers with information on buying and selling, what's happening in the markets, answering any questions they may have. So it was a big balancing act between the two of letting our agents know what was going on, what things were happening on the West, as well as flipping our Remax Canada content, more specifically the blog content, because that's what I deal with a lot is the remax.ca blog. So we really pivoted on that and started to take into account what consumers were looking for. So what information they were needing at the time. So a lot of it was on like, how am I going about buying a house during COVID-19? How am I going about selling a house? Because real estate doesn't stop. That's the thing, is people are always going to have to buy houses. People are always going to have to sell houses. So how we really wanted to push how Remax was adapting to the changes and how we were making things safe and accessible for people who are having to go through the buying and selling process. So we really flipped our content to be very focused around what was happening with COVID, how markets were looking, what was happening in different markets, what was happening in the country. And with Remax Western, we were then flipping it so that our agents could utilize these content pieces from the blog to send to clients and potential buyers, potential sellers who had these questions, and they had this content as supplemental pieces for that. And then the other big thing was just keeping our agents and brokers in the West up to date on what was happening in the West, because I know like we were out of office for a long time. I think everyone was out of office for a long time. So it was a really big adjustment period for everyone, but it was also really important on the communication side of things to keep our agents up to date with what was going on and what we were experiencing both on our end, and then being supportive and trying to assist wherever we could on with things that they were experiencing on their end.
Right. And actually, one of the things you said about the blog, I think some of our agents don't take advantage enough of the content on there, because a lot of people or agents are looking for content for social media. And for those that are, and I understand it's tough to always create content. We've got loads for you to share. It's how the blog is actually housed at remax-western.ca/blog.
That's for the Western Canada.
Western Canada one, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a really great resource to utilize for finding out what's happening. Like anything that's going on in Western Canada that our agents and brokers need to know about gets posted on the blog. The remax.ca blog is also a really great resource to utilize for sharing content for consumers on your own channels as the agent. And we have content going up like every other day. There's, I guess, it's a steady flow of content going out on that one. And that's remax.ca/blog. And that's a really great blog to go back to like every week and kind of filter through some of the new content and see if there's anything that you can utilize on your own social channels. Right.
And for those that's got questions about some of those blogs, posts and things like that, who do they ask?
They can email me, Kaylee J at remax.ca, or you can message the Remax of Western Canada Facebook group. I also manage that. So any of those questions you can direct through that, and I'll be happy to direct you in the right direction. Don't know how many times I said direction. It's a lot.
All good. So we're coming to a point that we're almost 25 after. I mean 9:55. I meant. What am I talking about? It's too early. I need more coffee. But it's time for the Remax Hustle tip from Kaylee. So the Remax Hustle tip is generally something unique about what you think or experience. It doesn't have to be related to the topic itself. So what would be your Remax Hustle tip?
I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on, but I think the biggest thing is to just be yourself and be authentic in everyday life, obviously, as well as on social media, because that's what's really going to draw people to you, is your personality and how you interact with people. And that's what consumers and clients are really looking for, is a genuine, authentic person that they can really connect with and that is going to understand where they're at in the buying process and that they can really connect with. So that's, I think, the biggest hustle tip, is to really just be authentic and be yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself on social, because that's what people are looking for.
Right. And for those that like to do video, you don't just be authentic. You don't have to look perfect on camera every time. So
Just be yourself.
just be yourself, and that's it. All right. Thank you, Kaylee, for coming on the show here and sharing all the good information for everybody. And we keep plugging on away on social space.
Yeah. Thanks for
Okay.
having me, Kingsley.
All good. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Okay. See you guys next time.